Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Tom Spark, and welcome back to another review. Pretty cool, guys. ExpressVPN has responded to our ExpressVPN review. They've addressed some of the criticisms, and we're going to be taking a look at some of this feedback to see if the score will now change, given some of the information they've updated us on, as well as doing a little bit more test just to finalize the score for 2021, or at least the first part of it. We might do an update later on in the year, but I do want to finalize that score, especially with the feedback they've given me and a little bit of tests I've been doing behind the scenes. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. Now, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out vpntierlist.com. This is kind of like the central hub of the channel, where I list out all the resources for you guys to help you pick the best VPN service. Anyways, guys, back to the video. One more thing, if you guys want to help support the channel, make sure to click on some of the links in the description or the comment down below. So guys, according to ExpressVPN, they said that I should redo the test with the lightweight protocol. They've said they just pushed out some pretty big changes and updates to the protocol within the application, which should improve speeds. They say on their end, they've noticed a huge improvement in speeds, which kind of does lead credibility to me saying that the lightweight speeds so far for 2020 were kind of slow and not as impressive as they kind of marketed it to be. However, now, according to the team, it does seem to be performing around the speed kind of area they were looking for. And I gotta say, in my little test here, it does seem that they've made a huge improvement. So I should have been a little bit more careful testing that in my review. I kind of just had assumed it was mostly the same and kind of mostly just gave them the speed result score for OpenVPN and not so much the new lightweight protocol. But now let's go ahead and see what kind of speeds we can get with it. So we are connected to the lightweight protocol right now, and let's see what kind of speeds we can get. Keeping in mind we're looking down here. So usually around 40 to 50 is the best speeds I can get with something like WireGuard, sometimes even 50 plus with WireGuard. And right now with ExpressVPN, we're seeing exactly that. We're seeing excellent speeds, no questions about it. 5 out of 5 for speeds, going up 50 plus, 61 right there. So ExpressVPN, with this feedback, I gotta say you guys are right. You guys now get a 5 out of 5 for speed, and I think you guys will agree that these are consistent, incredibly fast, and very, very solid speeds. Good job, ExpressVPN. So we are now updating ExpressVPN speed with a 5 in terms of speed. Really nice. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other categories which they discussed. So they hadn't really actually talked too much about price. That's just because I think they're admitting that it is expensive. That's just the price of the product. And they didn't really address that too much, so we're not really going to see that much change here. It's just expensive. That's the price, so not really much change there. So in the next category, what they did address is the application and how they kind of got scored a little bit low for having not too many features. So if we're talking about the features that ExpressVPN is saying that they do kind of do well in the feature category, well, they're kind of talking about some of the features that they're bringing to mobile devices. They're kind of focusing here saying like, hey, we have some good features. They have some stuff coming up for Android applications, including something called a protection summary, which is going to, I guess, like empower users to see insights on how their VPN is protecting them. That could be kind of cool, giving more information about like why a VPN is benefiting you in the current moment. Not only that, but they're going to be adding a security assistance, which is supposedly supposed to help with providing users with recommendations on protecting their devices, guarding their privacy, and according to them, securing various online accounts. So we'll have to see more about, kind of what that entails. Not only that, but they're going to be adding a data breach alert monitor that will notify people in real time when their email addresses are known with a larger data breach. So we actually kind of see something like this with Surfshark, and there are a lot of other kind of niche applications that kind of monitor your information to see if there's been any involved data breaches. Have I been pwned is sort of like that. And there are other applications out there too that do stuff like that. Additionally, ExpressVPN also kind of wants to remind me that they have a really good VPN router application, and they have provided stuff like split tunneling, more so than other competitors. And in terms of the split tunneling, I do think that has been an advantage of ExpressVPN. They certainly were one of the first VPNs to implement that feature, so I do give them props there. However, more and more VPNs are adding that feature and adding other features. While I do still think that ExpressVPN's core PC application hasn't really changed that much for a while, despite the lightweight protocol, which after testing now, I do say is pretty good. And like I said, ExpressVPN kind of did want to remind me that they have a very good router application, one of the few on the market where you can install it on your router, which is pretty cool and a little bit more user friendly than custom installing DDWRT. but I still think there is a certain amount of routers, ASUS, GLI. These kind of routers have natively configured VPN ability. You could just kind of upload OpenVPN configs. It's not really that hard, and it does work pretty well. I'm not sure if there's really too much advantage to ExpressVPN software besides just having a little bit of easy use and a software kind of component they designed to make it easy to use. I don't really know if there's that much difference in speed or anything like that, because most of the time these routers are kind of capped in terms of speed just because the hardware just isn't super powerful enough to be able to do VPN all the time with, you know, your Wi-Fi. The last category ExpressVPN wanted to address with my review is that they're trying to become more transparent. And what they pointed me to is saying to Google the co-founders or the founders of ExpressVPN, which directly led me to this article on TechRadar, where the co-founders themselves, and I've never ever heard of these guys before. I don't know who Dan Pomeritzer, Peter Bouchard. I guess they're the people that made ExpressVPN, and I've never heard of them before, so it's good to see that they're being more transparent, talking more about the owners. I'm not really sure why it took them, 6 or 7 years to do this. Besides maybe me pushing them to do this, I'm not really sure why they thought it would be a bad thing. I think being transparent like this is better. However, I don't think using TechRadar as like a way to reveal to everyone how transparent you are is necessarily like the best way to reveal how transparent you are. I don't think TechRadar is necessarily a legitimate kind of review site, or it's just sort of like a corporate magazine. It's not really like a thing that like I'm doing where I'm like custom doing every single review by myself with an objective criteria. TechRadar is just kind of like PC Mag, CNET, or any of these websites that are just kind of corporate magazines that recommend you certain VPNs based on commission rates. Maybe ExpressVPN did it on TechRadar because TechRadar has a good relationship with them and they could kind of trust that the article would be a certain way. That's perhaps something to do with it. One other thing that kind of bugs me about this method of kind of relying on a corporate magazine to spread information about your product is that I couldn't really find information on the website itself about the founders or anything like really like a kind of about us page. You do have plenty of information here in like these tabs, but still I could not find a dedicated like about the team or about who owns it or anything like that. So I do think there are still some improvements to be made here, guys. ExpressVPN, if you're watching this response, I'd love for anyone to come onto this show and talk with me, answer some of my questions, because I think that is probably a little bit more transparent because my channel is a little bit more objective in how I rate VPNs and not just how much VPNs pay me, especially since I don't take any sponsorships or CPA deals behind the scenes. So I think it would mean more for transparency at least. So in conclusion, it looks like this kind of feedback from ExpressVPN has boosted their score up to a 4.0 due to the small increase in reputation score, as well as the increase in speed with new lightweight protocol tests. I think if ExpressVPN really wanted to impress me, they could join the RVP program, come onto my show, answer some of the questions from you guys as well as me, and I think that would make them a little bit more reputable. Instead of just relying on these corporate magazines to spread information about their company in a positive manner. And I also updated the reputation score by 1 point. I do think the application score here is purely a score of the application itself, so I can't really change that too much because that's like the final analysis of the application analysis. Talking about the router and stuff like that is cool, but it's not necessarily a metric I'm testing too much in my reviews. And if I adjusted their score because of their cool router software, then I would have to test like the router capabilities of like every VPN and what they have on the table, which isn't something I want to do necessarily within the reviews and their scores themselves. Although I have done some router reviews and stuff like that on the channel, and I plan on doing more of that in the future. So I might even do like a video reviewing ExpressVPN's router software. Let me know down in the comments down below if you guys could be interested in that. So guys, thanks for checking out this updated kind of response video to ExpressVPN and them responding back to me. I think this kind of thing is cool, creating more of a dialogue between me and the VPN providers, getting their feedback on the reviews, taking that feedback, changing the score around to kind of fit a more accurate representation of what the company can offer you as a customer. I've never really seen any kind of VPN reviewer do this in such a transparent way. I think it's a huge boon to you guys here on the channel if you're looking for the VPN that's perfect for you. I think more accurate scores is always a better thing. I think being transparent here with you guys, showing you how the scores fluctuate back and forth, showing you the review system itself, and kind of how flexible it is ultimately a good thing. So stay tuned, guys, for more review updates. I've actually been in talks with Surfshark and PrivateVPN as well. They've gotten back to me about their reviews, so I might be doing some update videos on those reviews and what they've said about the reviews, and maybe changing some scores around as well to kind of finalize my final opinion on these companies and their products. So stay tuned for that. Come join us on the Discord, click on some of the links, and I'll see you again next time.